Alright, cool, we're live. Thank you for watching the VOD. If you can hear this, then that's probably what's going on. But yeah, thanks for being here. If you're completely new, be sure to check out our other videos. I think I said last week that we're at 120, but I thought when I looked in the YouTube console, I could have sworn it showed us at 200 and some videos. Let me see. Excuse me. Monsters and memories. Videos? Scrolling down, scrolling down, scrolling. Why doesn't it just give me a tab or something? Yeah, I have no idea. Like if I look at Mandrake Farms, it just says how many videos are there. Let me switch accounts. Hop in there. And Bullet Catcher, thank you for 8 months. Hey Pattis, and good morning. Trying to see if we go here, manage videos maybe. At this point, I'm belaboring a point that doesn't matter. Alright, so in the content it says 130 of about 119. So, yeah. Ooh. Zukin posted an internal only video. Damn it, I wish I'd saw that earlier. Now I want to watch desperately. Son of a gun. Zukin. Justin Beard, you are welcome, sir.
Oh, my dog.
What up, Golden Gloves? Thank you for 13 months. You badass you. You traveling nomadic badass. Justin Beard, we're homeboys. We're homies. We're buddies. Sakaj, hello. I almost want to get you a subscription to wherever that little duck was from, just so I could see the duck when you come in. What's up, Swanee? Yeah, I'm sweatered. I took this thing off though because I felt it was a little excessive. I wear a big thick ass scarf even inside just to make it so that I don't have to have the heat turned up all the way. Trying to save Germany's heat. Excuse me for the coughing. Made your Thanksgiving weekend? Cool, man. I was thankful for all of you on Thanksgiving, but I was especially thankful that we can have the little conversations and stuff that we do in Discord, Justin. Cooling off here in Florida. It's down to 70 this morning. It's funny. My mom and dad live in Florida. So I get updates every once in a while on the weather. Got this big empty space in here. I moved the mining guy out of the corner in here because it's like, well, there's nothing in here yet, so whatever. Let's just move him out to the traveler section for now. I moved the mining guy out to the traveler's camp and realized that there wasn't stone cutting. Okay. I realized all of a sudden that there was no trainer. It was just the supplies. So, but we have a trainer in the database, so I went ahead and plopped him in here as well. These guys hang out here. A lot of space for activities. It's a big activity hall. Dodgeball. Arts and crafts. Swanee said, when I was stationed in North Dakota, my dad would purposely call me to give me weather updates when he was having breakfast at the beach in the winter. Yeah, my dad pulls shit like that too. Like, you know, you can always move back here. That's how my parents try to entice me back. So I was goofing around this morning while just sort of waking up, and you know what? I'm not going to show you guys. People can just see it when they come in. Good morning, Dark Inside. See, I caught it this time. Let's look around a little bit and see. Let's look around a little bit and see some of the new stuff that's been put in over the weekend or the last few days. I'm gonna go check on something for me. Okay, cool. That guy's there. What about his friends? Cool. So they'll do their thing. Let me fly. I realized I got the Necromancer quest in last week. And I realized my play character had not actually completed the Necromancer quest because it wasn't in yet when I made him. So I knocked that out last night. Right after dinner, I just sat down and completed the first stage of the quest, which was pretty cool. What am I doing? That was cool to be able to do. Now he's got a dope robe. Just started playing Final Fantasy 14 yesterday, and you're actually having a lot of fun since I got to level 22 yesterday. Did my first group dungeon last night. Learned a lot just from playing with a few people, Dark Inside said. How many hours did it take you to go from level 1 to 22? Like half a day? Did you feel like the levels mattered? Like, what do you feel the levels had any purpose when you went through 22 of them in half a day? If so, what was the purpose? Ventali, good morning. All right, so Luna has been adding in the Druid content and starting to populate the Druid area. Dark Inside said, yeah, it did, because normally a modern MMO would take me an hour or two max to get 22 levels. It felt really good to take my time. I was asking that. My question was loaded because I felt like 22 levels in half a day seemed kind of so fast that you really didn't experience like what would that be basically? I'm bad at math, so calc. All right, we'll do this over here. So let's say it was half a day, and half a day is considered 6 hours of playing. So is that right? That means you leveled every 16 minutes. So in 20 minutes... In like over the course of 20 minutes, what did you learn about a level? Like what did that level's impact have on you as a player? No, it took you 12 hours? Okay, so 40 minutes per level. Oh, I need to slow down. I'm just moving too fast. Yep. So, if Luna... Oops. If Luna streams some, then you'll be able to see her stuff firsthand. I won't be necessarily having... Well, that's not true. I show off everybody's stuff. Yeah, so we've still got a lot of, like, placeholder... character art. You know what I mean? Like we'll be continuing to, as we get more assets available, we'll do more with the NPC sort of distinctive looks and stuff. But quests are going in, population's going in. Got some behavior, some folks moving around. Here and there, I've been starting to plop a little bit of that in, especially now that we've been documenting our tools and getting a little bit of functionality here and there, but for the most part, getting better at using the functionality Ali already had in there, so we're able to go in and start to get some ideas on how to better implement simple, like, NPC behavior. Excuse me. Yovina Dev, thank you for the follow. Dark Inside said, I learned that some of my spells are click once, then click again to turn off. I kept thinking it was a normal ability and found out it wasn't, and I kept dying because it was a buff and not an ability. Ow. So it's basically just click on to activate the buff, click off to deactivate the buff. So it's cool. We got this area coming online, and right across from here, Luna's going to be working on the shaman stuff, and then we'll probably have the beast masters in here as well. And then in terms of block out, the city will continue to come this way, and then we'll get into Sage side here in the northeast corner. We haven't started blocking out that area yet. If anything, there may have been a subtraction if those wind up being NPCs. Hey guys, yeah. So I wound up, because the Necromancer Guild is in through here, there's this whole area through here that we're gonna develop. But since the Necro Guild comes up through here, I didn't want to run all the way to the other newbie yard yesterday. Because I just needed to get like a shitload of skeletons with a conditional ability. Or a conditional drop, sorry. And so I came out here and was like, okay, great, I'm gonna get skeletons. And then I realized that because the Ashira and the Jackals hate the undead, if you look right now, there are not very many skeletons up. Right? Because nothing's depopping these guys, and like, oh, maybe... there actually should be a different spawn at night. There should be a different data set at night. So basically, each time they like depop and then repop, the these freaking jackals and Ashira wind up eating all your skeletons. But fortunately, I think Luna was working on something and had to repop the zone a bunch of times, which once she started repopping the zone, I was good to go. It was actually really really helpful for me because I could just farm the skeletons really quickly, finish my quest, get my robe, and then move on. Mornings. Good morning. Yeah, if you haven't seen the game at all, then you're gonna be, it's more interesting than here. I'm showing you stuff that's just not done at all. We haven't started yet to kind of show you just what's left. Coat Morsnix is offering a wonderful deal on, like, promotion of the channel and viewers and followers and stuff. That's so awesome. Thank you so much. That's so awesome. What do you mean looks like a bot? That's not a bot. That is a concerned citizen looking out for our well-being. Hey, Ollie. Yes, this is... No, I can't make that joke. Just because I worked on the game does not mean I get to make jokes about the IP. I could probably get us in trouble if I joked and said, yeah, this is what that is. Alright, so... let's check it out. We looked a little bit last week at the work that Simon's been doing. Over here in the harbor area. And he's getting it pretty close. It looks like the layout's almost done. So we got some new cranes. Oh, it's funny. I do kind of look like a superhero though right now. I've got my cape. I'm flying. Yeah, cape's billowing. Screw it. Let's just make superhero game. The little fly through over the sand suddenly made you think of Star Wars Galaxies. That's fair. We just need like a randomly spawning pile of whatchamacallit, like mites or whatever. Dark Inside said regarding Final Fantasy he also learned that questing has a lot of different types of quests. Some are a lot more story focused, others are generic side quests, which are different based on color of the quest marker. Fair. And he also found out that they don't have fall damage unless you get aggroed after you fall. Funny enough, right before I decided to jump off a massive cliff to avoid aggro, take a shortcut down to a camp, I jumped off and died. Lucky for me, there was a player there that was a healer right in front of where I died. That is good luck. Good morning, Belfaster. Ow. I think the way I hold my cell phone is causing my pinky to get like arthritis or something. Get the weirdest pains in my pinky now. Alright, so this area is pretty damn spiffy. Looking forward to one day there being some like player boats jamming their way in here and looking all inappropriate. So Simon also worked on getting these dwellings in the cliff side or the wall side here. So tight, man. Good job on this. This is going to be fun. I guess I can make it so that these guys aren't just hanging out here anymore. Can start to move them maybe a little bit towards where we think they're going to go. Cool. You're making coffee, then logging into Final Fantasy 14. Right on, Darkened Side. Pattis has been in here. Ooh. Uh-oh. Cool. Wonder how far he gets before this guy depops again. Still see him over here. This guy's over here. Probably move that guy, make him look a little less suspicious. So I put in a quest over the weekend that revealed some questions and issues and stuff like that. That was mainly just like a series of experiments, but I'm okay enough with it. We'll see as people actually do it if they find it boring or whatever. But essentially, you've got to follow a couple of people around. They meet up time to time here, and then they all three leave at once unless somebody's been killed or something, and then maybe only two will leave at once. Or one will leave at once. And then you follow them, and you're given an item that allows you to see hidden objects that these guys are placing and then recover them. And there are little ambushes along the way and stuff. So it was originally meant to be pretty simple. It wound up not working as intended, the simple part of it. So wound up spending a fair amount of time debugging and finding some issues, and finding at least one issue that we were able to find like a bypass for, but not being able to like not being able to find the actual core problem. I guess it's just been sort of duct taped over, but it works. What's up, Asijiak? Pazzy asked, where did I route them? Was it random places pointing out helpful places or story lore appropriate? It was meant to sort of take you through some areas you might not otherwise go, and then story and lore appropriate will, yeah, I can say yeah, but that's also one of those things that we will make things like that more appropriate as we go. Oh, I guess I died after I logged out last night. I thought I res myself. I found a bug with gate and then died here, but I gave myself a GM res because it was a bug. Because I really didn't want to take the experience hit. Cool. So, what to do really quick? I want to let me just run through this really fast. Do I make another tune, run through and make sure it's all working, and then just sort of check that off the list? That's probably not a bad thing to do. So, oops. Camp. Yeah, so create character, human, inquisitor. Huh. Fair enough. All right, here I am. Memorize some abilities really quick. Though I think... I don't know, will I don't know that I've got any sort of conditional ability requirement on this quest set. But... and I'm not going to play through normally. I'm definitely going to cheat just so we can quickly debug this and then move on to a new topic. Make myself a GM first of all. Do that every single time. There we go. For whatever reason, I swear that the door was not there when I was looking. Maybe it was just open, but I thought the door was just not there before. I thought we had already taken it out. Pattis has made a really awesome looking set of doors that we'll be replacing doors with. I don't know that the front gate should ever be like closed. You can see that on the other gates. Have to look at the door once it's... or I need to just, I guess, scroll up and Slack and look at the door. Alright, so... take this note to Jafar, Jam, and spell Binder Spire to begin your training. I think as much as I've been just... in the past I've talked about not wanting to... The newbie notes have always, to me, felt like it's such a... let me say it a different way. For a long time I've thought it would be nice to just have them be super subtle. I was originally even saying I'm not sure that we want any direction at the beginning, just let you go. But in having the newbie notes in, I think if we're going this route, since we're going this route, why not just make them all sorts of colorful and help with some of the exposition and world building and shit, so... Story-wise, you could see the front gate closing at night. Story-wise, I could see it either way. I guess it depends on the story. If they're shutting all the other gates and they've got a concentration of guards watching the front gate, then they could leave the gate open to allow for easy traversal of goods and cargo and blah 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 wagons, while still having the ability to SI speed jam. having the ability to drop it if things get bad. Hey, Dantron. 29 months, dude. Thank you. It's good to see you. I am in the wrong place. I need to go up here. Or I could just fly and make this quicker, but I think I've always flown. That's the problem. Oh, dead end. Actually, oh, I think it's just that nope, there it is. I was like, have we blocked the road to Sage Side? I don't think it's been laid out. It used to be laid out, but maybe it's no longer. Nope, there it is. I was just not looking hard enough. Valid. I'm just not knowing where the F I'm going. There's Petra. Yeah, it's funny. I did all of the sort of addition of the quests and stuff to these guys in the database. Because they're in a super placeholder area. But I could have sworn the Jafar's maybe up in the tower. Okay. But I haven't actually been to them directly yet in game. Fly up there and work our way back. No, go ahead, Keith. Repop away. Yeah, Pat, it's the tower in Sage Side. Okay. Oh, excuse me. Come up here. Cool. Oh. Shaman reagents. We can move him. Let's go ahead and do that for Luna so she don't have to think about it. You can't walk to him at the moment. Oh, no worries. I'll just make a note of it, and they can be moved. But first, let me move this shaman for shaman reagents. Plop them right here. From position, save, cool. Pat has said he's going to clean up Sage Side after he finishes with the garrison tweaks. That's cool. That works. Do I need anybody else immediately? I think I'll probably need to. I'll just plan on going to these guys. Where are you guys? The ones I need. All right. For now, I'll just do some go-tos, and we'll see. We'll see how things go from there. All right. Step 1. See if it works. If not, we'll fix it. All right. Cool. Thank you. Usually, you'll not have to go that far. Turn the note. Do you picture shamans being jack of all trades in terms of healing buffs and debuffs? No. I think it'd be fair to say that they'll have a defined role. When you say jack of all trades, it feels like maybe they're not. They won't have their own sort of like distinct feel. But I tell you what, to get a better articulation on that, Golden Gloves, ask in Discord. We've even got some little like Discord's forum features is set up, and a couple of folks from the community have like started class forums, so see what Nick's got to say on that front. All right, small leather bag. Are you familiar with Tarlonian seer stones? Do you know what these stones do? Let me target her. All right, so she tells me about the stones. And cool. They'll likely, I've got to go follow these strangers. They'll likely have affixed what appears to be an ornate carved stone nearby or along their path. Gather those. It's spikes in the bag that she gave me, and return them along with this seer stone. Okay. Oh man. Moving this fast is not helping my already injured frame rate. Oops. So let me make a note. Quest. Market. Ref. 2. In. Cool. So make that clear. Rewrite that part. Just because I've got them starting in a different place than I originally thought. Can you hear the bugs in the basement? Yeah, we'll have to figure out what's going on with frame rate today. Frame rate today for me is the lowest it's been in quite a while. I'm not quite sure. I've got the feeling the second we zone out to Shaded Dunes, that won't be the case. I don't think it's specific to the client. I think it's just something going on in here. Let me make a note while we're waiting on these guys to move. I'll make a note in the actual documentation to change that text. Where does she say it? Here. Cool. Update this. Comment. Update this section. Alright, so when went out that door, when went out this door? Or is going out that door? Yeah, I saw that you said that, Pattis. Minimize this. Minimize that. Nope. He's doing something. Probably reduce that pause by a good bit. Do you try to squash these performance issues as they pop up or leave optimization profiling until later on? We've been hitting it just sort of as we go. We'll run into something like this. Oh, that's the server error that we're discussing. Oh shit, yeah, I forgot. Alright, so I'll explain to you what's happened with this over the weekend so that you can get an understanding of... Oh, no, wait. If I do this... I grab the speed gem instead of that. Let me see if I... So I'm pretty sure I'm still going to get this server error. Yeah, I am. Okay. So I'm still getting the server error with look. Let me... capture this. Make a note. Bug discussion. I'm gonna say still getting this server error with /look, making it unusable. I'm pretty sure that's the case. I'm not mistaken. Yeah. All right. And now let me look at something really fast. So here, I'll tell you about since we're supposed to be talking about game development, not just watching me QA stuff. So it set up a quest basically with the idea in mind of creating a fiction around. You get this item that is a magical light source that allows you to see magical items that have been placed, and it's meant to use the mud action system. All right, so what that means is we're not actually going to put a visible object here, right? But we're going to do a little bit of make-believe. And so the idea was, cool, I'll have this fairly dim light source, so it's not a great light source, but it needs to be enough of a light source to actually go along with the fiction, right? And each time one of these guys pauses, they're essentially putting in place one of these items that you need to find. When you come up here, our system can look to see whether or not you've got a item in your possession. So when you look without having this item in your possession, you won't find anything here. But when you look with the item in your possession, the system checks and then it says, okay, cool. It gives you a little bit of information, which in this case winds up being... Let me open the data. You see a small iron spike embedded in the wall. And from there, as long as you've got the item, you can also use the pull command, /pull, to remove the item from the wall. You collect those items, you put them in this bag. There's 6 unique ones. And then essentially combine it, and it becomes a quest turn-in for this stage of things. What we found, and this was something that popped up as just a result of playing around with a quest like this, is we found that despite knowing that this action type works and that this requirement works, having an item in your hand, or sorry, having an item in your possession unlocks the ability to do the interaction. The thing wasn't working. And so wound up switching, because at first I was like, well, maybe /look is not supporting it, but I know for a fact that /inspect supports it, because we've got another one just right out here in the newbie yard where you have to inspect with this parchment and charcoal in your possession, and you rub an inscription, and then you've got a new, like, basically you got the rubbing that you can take with you. And sat here just looking at this thing, trying to figure it out, switching it to different interaction types for quite a while. I mean, it's stuff like this that can eat up a fair amount of time, where you're sitting and just like debugging, and unable to really ascertain like why this thing is acting inconsistently from a very similar interaction that we know is functioning. Because the thing that we've always got to then look for is, did something change with interactions? Did something, like, did we refactor the requirements in the prompt? We've done some work with other systems that use similar prompts, because they're kind of similar prompts to quests and stuff like that. We've discussed unifying the prompts so that each of the systems, even if they're discrete systems, work very similarly to each other without trying to jam everything into one system. And so there's that type of shit where it's just, all right, a lot of guesswork as to what changed and why are these two things different. So yesterday, right when I was about to just be like, I can't figure it out. This is just crazy to me. I need help. Like right as I was about to press send on the, can somebody else look at this, right? Like I think I tagged Nick, or yeah, I think I tagged Nick and was like, can somebody else look at this and just see what is different here? I realized that when I went and just, just to make sure that the other one was still working, when I went and tried it, I create the parchment, I create the charcoal, and it works. And right as about to hit send, I realized, wait a second, the only difference is that the parchment and charcoal are never in my hand. There's never like, some of our interactions will prompt you to hold it. And I even did that. I was like, all right, maybe but it's not one of the actions that prompts you to like have the item that you're using, right? Like if you're prying something, it will ask you to hold the item you're prying with, like dagger or sword or whatever. And then it checks that and it does the action. So I was just like, what? But then I realized, oh, because we want this glow to kind of add to the effect here, I made it so that it's held, right? Because the fiction is held. And the second I put the damn thing into my inventory, or even into a bag, it worked. So that led to the discovery that the implementation of the system is, it's basically reading through your inventory to see if you've got these items, but it's not counting equipped inventory as inventory in this case. So, that is the kind of fun that can take something that I was like, check console for spamming logs that could be causing the lag. It's possible there's too many light sources going on at once. Have we added more light sources suddenly? Or recently? Because this feels relatively new. Most of the errors that I'm seeing are related to... Yeah, it's nothing spamming. This morning, we're getting super spammed by the... there's a broken item. Was playing around with trying to look at some of the latest textures and stuff, and there was, I think, a model HID that was that I typed in wrong, and it created like 1 billion errors this morning. But apparently that's the billion errors were not what is causing the frame rate hit, because they're gone now and the frame rate hit's still here. But let's see. All right, so I opened this up to look into whether or not I move these back to use look. Okay, they are using look. Great. I think I can still cheat because I know what's supposed to happen here, unless this also gives me an error. Pull spike. Up. Doesn't work. Let me put this item here. Pull spike. And... oh, there's a cooldown. Cool. Alright, so that works. I am just gonna create a issue really quick and post it in GitHub. Today is Tuesday. So when was... oh yeah, I streamed on Thursday. That's what it was. I streamed on Thanksgiving, but it was in the morning for most of you. So hopefully you guys had a decent Thanksgiving. My weekend wound up being kind of crazy. We had Thanksgiving, and then Friday was kind of a normal day for us in Germany. And then Saturday, Jasmine had some friends come from Hamburg and hang out with us in the evening, overnight. Lots of wine was consumed. And so then Sunday was just kind of like, oh, not very productive. So I didn't get as much done as I'd hoped. Hey John, what's going on? Let's see. /look is producing a server error and not firing. So, I think that's the correct image I just took. /look is producing a server error rather than firing, which is gating its use. So I would say with regards to like this quest, I may wind up finding like this quest is either it's just too slow and not fun. Maybe it's a decent side quest. I might move it to just be a side quest, to be honest with you. There's some moments in it where it's balance-wise it's going to be difficult, and it could just be overall too slow of a pace in terms of repops and things like that. With this stage of it, it's actually built in a way where you can cheat it, but it's done intentionally to just... Once you've got lokes and things like that, it's easy enough to cheat. I didn't want to like overcomplicate it by locking at different stages, etc. So at the end of the day, it may wind up just being a side quest. And it's a good example of like getting an idea of like, hey, I want to try these mechanics, and just sitting down, writing that out, and then, you know, working through it in an effort to just see the mechanics in action. And believe it or not, I did learn a bunch of shit over the weekend and trying to get it to work. So that was good. But I think it's a really good example as well of just like how much value there is in making simple kill quests. You know, it's nice to add in the flavorful ones, and it's nice to have these things be varied and provide like different types of gameplays that break things up. But if this was a kill quest, at least this stage, the rest of it really is, to be honest. If this was a kill quest, then we'd be done by now. And there's the risk, right? There's the balance risk in terms of availability of spawns. There's the potential downside of, oh man, this isn't really, you know, certain people's fantasy in terms of like following people around. Put the ambushes in just in an effort to, you know, make it so that things are mixed up a little bit more. Plus, the ambushes are just ambushes, so it could be that right as the ambush is like popped, and it depops after, I'd say, at the moment it depops after 2 minutes. Could probably depop it after like 60 seconds, to be honest. But then it creates like some just random shit that happens in town as well, which is a fun side effect. So that's my thought on it. Kill quests, how many gnomes? How dare you? You feel a light thumping against your ankle as you are ascended by a swarm of gnomes. For some people that is a nightmare. For other people that's a fetish. What? You don't have any gnome fetish? You guys talk about gnomes enough. You lose 1 sock and 3 gold as a result of this encounter. Will background music emphasize certain areas, maps, or will it play everywhere all the time? Runa Kuna asked. So we currently have it set up so that when you enter the zone for the first time, it plays through its zone music once, and then it moves into this longer ambient track that we have. We've discussed the use of music in a number of different situations. to emphasize like zone lines, certain points of interest. Essentially, everything that we've thrown out for Robert to consider, he's been pretty hyped on. I'll even use the absolute everything, which naturally there's no way that's true, but for the most part, when we've thrown out ideas, Robert's been pretty hyped on it. So since he's the one that's got to make all the music, I take that as a good sign that we'll do. We'll try to do more rather than less on that front. And differentiation between like day and night tracks, etc. So found another bug in here, which we still haven't. Will there be zones without any music as well? Didn't really consider that. I guess if it makes sense, like if it makes them feel more like their theme, I guess it's possible. But if I had to guess, if we were to throw that challenge at Robert, he'd probably say that he can find music that would make a zone that is best without music still sound even better. Is anybody in here with me? Nope. Going to cheat. John suggested to Pattis that we put up a beware of boat sign down at the docks. I put in our documentation over the weekend a little note to remember the idea of both mimics and mimic ships. Because when we were talking about aggro ships and you guys had like mentioned mimics, and then the idea of a mimic ship. Thought that was pretty cool. While I'm waiting on this guy to walk down here, you guys keep an eye out for him. Let me finish writing this up. Look is producing a server error. So one of the things I've noticed over the last 2 weeks, I think I've mentioned it a few times, and this is less about game development and just more of a personal issue. Which honestly, most of these streams are about personal issues. I'm noticing, and I'm really trying to discover what the deal is, because I've always been in the habit, like when I was, whenever I'm working at a company, before I send an email, I probably read it like 3 times to make sure there's no typos and shit, because I feel embarrassed if I send something and it's just got some blatant like text error in it, right? Because why not just take the moment to reread it? But I touch type. And I can't tell if the fact that I'm just touch typing and then glancing at what I wrote at the end of it instead of like reading it thoroughly before hitting enter or whatever, if that's the culprit, or if I'm actually starting to not spot mistakes, like my brain's just overlooking errors more and more. So I'll be 48 in March. So look at this guy. Conum, indifferent to me. Indifferent. And then his con changes as he hits this go to, because we've got the ability now to swap a faction dynamically. But this guy, like getting these guys to frickin' aggro it's just hours of debugging. And at some point yesterday, Nick and I were both looking at the database and looking at this thing going, what the hell? And so you do the thing that you usually do. Strange Day. Hello. We, put different factions in place, look at one, like use different NPCs, look at one NPC that worked relative to these NPCs. Why aren't they working? compare the factions, all this other shit, and it was just, yeah. So, anyway. Kill. I can't remember. Did we work on it on Friday or over the weekend? But I know Nick, Ollie, and I were looking at just targeting for a morning, and I can't remember what morning that was, but I thought it was like Friday or maybe Saturday. And we're just looking at targeting, finding like what targeting feels best. And at the end of the day, looking at like WoW's targeting and just how clean, like trying to figure out, are they using a cone? What size cone? How many cones? Where can you target? Like, you know, basically looking at different examples and trying to figure out the best system has been interesting. Realizing that they're using, it looks like a beam along with cones, but anyway, so targeting has felt better. But I'm trying to think when that was that we did it, and then when the last playtest was. So if you check out some of the playtests coming up, probably in the evenings once I'm already in bed, then see if the folks comment on it feeling better or not. That's not handy. But anyways, back to the whole, like, just typing and having errors in there. It's really starting to bug me. And I swear, like, I'll type in an entire sentence or whatever, and it'll be fucking just... I'll go back and look at it, and it'll be garbled. I'm like, what is going on here? So, I'm gonna have to keep an eye on that. And the server just bounced, maybe? Did I say gargled or garbled? Am I actually talking that way now, Dark Inside? Am I not only garbling words, but on text I'm garbling them via voice? You got an error while playing Final Fantasy and got kicked right after I got kicked? Oh, maybe... Maybe the internet's down. But then, how are we talking? Alright, I'm gonna finish writing this bug that... I'm gonna call this a... Do we have a blocker? It's a blocker. It's a blocker, yo. It's a blocking bug of the design tooling. Just enter everything. I'm gonna enter everything as bugs now. That'll give Ollie a chance to boost his numbers even higher. This is a new issue. Justin says, I have a question about housing. Can I play the housing market in my city and flip a crack house for profit? Probably not. You'll never actually ever own the house. You're not going to own it directly. You always just rent from us. You will own nothing, but you will be happy, Justin. Don't worry. You will own nothing, but you will be happy. Let me see if there's something to pull latest. Just like real life. Yes, Akash. Just like the real life. Swanee, how do you think we're funding this game? All right, can't log in with that guy. Let me try a different tune. Interworld. Guess not. So I'm fairly certain the let's see, either zone crashed or the server's down. Let's find out. Keith is going to take a look. Awesome. So while we're there, let's look at some other stuff. Go into Shaded Dunes. Entering a bug then uncovers more bugs. Yeah, as soon as I submitted that bug, the game was like, how dare you? We'll show you bugs. Cool. Switch this to Shaded Dunes. We'll come over here and we'll look at our playlists for music in the background while they're looking into stuff. Music videos. Hit pause on this because I want to hear the ambient track over and over and over again. We'll start it over. I wish there was just a simple loop, but we got 21 minutes. Let me see. How's the music level? All right, so Shade Dunes enable. So we need to look at mob levels in the zones. Keith's going to restart the zones. Cool. So I was watching, the team went over and they were playing last week, and I think they were in the level 6 range, which if they're in the level 6 range, then in theory the Ashira camp can provide some content. There were some NPCs in here before that were like the Ashiran refugees that, and then there's also this like really crazy high level spawn. Tommy Katz, thank you for the follow. And they were just lower level before that. I didn't really know what they were there for. I think there was a quest or something that was put in before, but I couldn't identify it. And so far I've mentioned it in Slack and no one's claimed it. So, so those can be retuned. I'm going to get with Nick and talk about his thoughts on the various, like the level spread, and then how we want to separate out camps. We've got a lot of roamers right now, which are, if I remember correctly, I'd have to, let's see. What's that about? Yeah, that did something weird. Copy this. Come back in here. Yeah. If I remember these guys correctly. Try again in like 5 minutes? Alright. Yeah, so they range from a low probability on like a level 4 snake, which some of these were in the data set already, and I'm kind of like, do we actually need that? With the majority of the spawns being 5, 6, 7, 8, with again low probability of a level 10 on the high end, which I think are some of the wandering ghouls that I put in for a quest, just because I was lazy and didn't want to put in more volumes. So we've got essentially 5 through 9 pretty well covered. The Ashira Oasis Camp, most of the spearfish fishermen will be level 9. And then we've got a mix of 4 through 9 here, which, again, that's the thing I want to discuss is, do we need that spread? Can we tighten that up and be like 5 through 9? Do we want to bump it up since we've got a lot of like 1 through 4 sort of content in the newbie yard, and then in this transitional area here. Added more undead into this area, which their spawn, like they previously were already levels 4 through 9, the ones that were here. So I just piggybacked on that, and then basically just kept the same spawn tables, but added in a little bit of structured movement for them and added some more spawns, because it was just 2 spawns before per pyramid. The crocodiles are similarly low, like 6 to 10. And then where we don't necessarily have a lot of content in here is going from like 9 or 10 up through sort of mid-teens, and so that'd be a good discussion for us to see how we want to tackle that. I put in something that's probably janky and probably needs to change. So there's these random crocodiles that are higher level than the little starter crocodiles that you have in the newbie yard, that then spill over here, like these little guys here, the hatchlings. There's a buffer between hatchlings and then the sort of low teens guys that we have on the path here. If we were to bump up these guys to be a bit higher level, that would start to fill the need a little bit. And it doesn't have to be much. They're already like go up to 10, but maybe bump them up just a little bit, and reduce their low end cap. And then you can either sneak in, because you'll see if you pull to here, there are no bandits anywhere, but there's this nice little spawn of these, instead of hatchlings, young crocs, with a rare croc that's in there. That's I think, did I already itemize him? Cool, I think so. So it's like a sneaky camp within a camp, but that may be a stupid idea. And we could just sort of normalize it. That said, if we normalize it to be roughly the same level as the bandits around it, then there's just a ton of content here, I guess. And then the ghouls on the island here cover our mid, so 14 to 17 with a higher level rare. mid-teens, and the archaeologists, the undead that take over the archaeologist camp at night, also wind up filling that. Did I fill that into my little list here? Yeah, I did. So during the day, if you're farming researchers, it's kind of like 9 to 13. More of a faction spot than anything. And then the undead are level 12 to 17. So additional areas that we have to work with is we can restructure some of this here. We've got a couple little camps that were the mendicant camps that we could potentially modify or just change completely to reuse. While I was in here propping out the smuggler area over there, I went ahead and just tried to make a make an oasis that's not very obvious at ground level. So a little hidden oasis here that we can use as well. But before we do any modification, we'll just have to kind of look and look at the level spread here. Because what we've got for proof of concept is we've got a lot of content that we can put into Night Harbor. But that's, you know, that's urban content. And I mean, in theory with Night Harbor, it's big enough that we could put in various camps and content that could probably take you through max level without a problem. It's a big city. There's even just at sort of the top ground superficial level, there's plenty of space for that. So the question becomes, all right, so as we're looking at the outdoor areas and working our way into Fallen Watch up on the hill through Fallen Pass, reevaluating like where do we actually want to have that point end, because I think if we were to like go, oh, all right, Fallen Watch is max level, that thing creates such a spread in content that we've got to try to do prior to getting you up there, that I feel like it'll be fairly forced. But if Fallen Watch is more like a level, you know, level 30, like mid 20s to early 30s or so, and maybe even a little spot here or there that's beyond that, then what we can look at is essentially we've already got a nice mid-range plot going on here, going into Fallen Pass. And as I was like oddly sort of reminded when I saw Nick was in there yesterday, we've got Deep Dunes, which is a nice thematic change, and we want to dust that off and go back in there. That gives us another area to sort of spread things out a bit. And we've got an expansion on Wormsbane that you guys haven't seen us most times play through. But its expansion kind of works its way back towards Night Harbor. That gives us plenty of space to work as well. And the thought that was discussed for that in the past was this idea of sort of doing, you know, you've seen in old previous games where there'd be like Dungeon A, Dungeon B, which is a continuation of the theme, and it's just it's a higher level range, and it gives you, you know, a zone line which sort of denotes that change in range or sub-theme. So Mr. Marion, thank you for the follow. So yeah, that's where we're at with that. And so yeah, speaking of, let me open Dungeon A01. What do you mean, Justin? Load subscenes. Oh, Justin, I didn't answer your earlier question, did I? About whether or not I'll play on an older laptop. The goal is to, I mean, I think I've said it a number of times now. Like if Ollie can pull it off, he'll have it to where you can play it on a toaster, right? So there'll be the optimizations that we make as we go. So like the frame rate hit that we're seeing right now is either due to an issue that we've introduced and we've got to track that down, or we've hit a threshold in terms of the amount of, you know, lighting that we've put in or texture memory, whatever it is, like whatever the threshold is, we've hit it, and then we've got to look at optimization, right? And there's a lot of optimization that we can do that's sort of the more common optimization that I don't think we're doing yet. I might be full of shit on that. Pattis can clarify, but I do think there's a fair bit of optimizing that we can do. With Night Harbor itself, I mean, we're still in progress building this zone, right? And this is prior to props, this is prior to a true lighting pass, all that sort of stuff, right? So think about this zone propped out, or in this zone lit. It's just going to be, it's ridiculous to think that we're going to jam all of this in one zone. We've been pretty, I think we've been pretty consistent in our messaging that we're cool with the idea of breaking the zone up into several sub-zones, both because we like zone lines, right? Like, we're not afraid of zone lines. We're not... we're already using zone lines, right? The line between Shaded Dunes that we're just in and then Freeport is a zone line. Hey T-Con. Hey Bugsy. The idea that we'd have like a zone line, but that from the garrison into, you know, this chunk of the city, if we wanted to find that as market or whatever, and have this be one encapsulated zone, I personally don't see any problem with that. And if anything, that'll enable certain gameplay, right? Because we want these to also work well as combat spaces. And if we pull the trigger on that and make that decision relatively early, then we'll make sure that the content's designed around that. So that's a whole nother piece of optimization that we can do. If I can get into game, we'll see. If I can get into game, then I'll show you guys that haven't been around for a bit. Kind of how the facades look when we when we're in one zone looking into the other. If anything, one of the cool things about being zone based is that we can, you know, likely pull off some scale tricks with facades and things that you know, add to the experience. Let me pause my music. Wish you had good internet. You're still on DSL. Well, Justin, hopefully that doesn't make too much of a difference for you either. Can't wait to wait on the boat in this game. We had a boat that you could wait on earlier in the year, and I'll be super honest. I really enjoyed waiting on the boat, and then riding the boat around was a ton of fun. Reaper the Demon asked, "Is there an ETA on M&M? Just curious." Nope. There is no ETA. We can tell you our next goal. Our next goal is to start getting some friends and family in, like a small group, to playtest and help us basically test the playtest process. And then after that, we'll have I guess I did die. Well, that's lame. How much experience did I lose? Did I not res myself? I died to a bug, so I'm not cheating if I res myself. This is my legit playthrough, guys, so... Up. Oh. Guess it can't be resed. So... Reaper, yeah. The goal is to then start doing some just kind of ongoing playtests throughout the beginning of next year. Just to continue to get feedback and refine things. But the game itself is working towards like an end of proof of concept stage. More than it is working towards like a 100% we're looking to go live on this day type of a thing. Been watching for a year now. So I thought the name looked familiar, but I've got the feeling you primarily lurk, right? Yeah, it's too big. I got some crap to sell after farming those skeletons. Are you guys going to have jock straps around? It's a legacy idea. Are we going to have jock straps? Like on the merch store? That... Or do you mean in game? So far I'm not seeing any issues, but I haven't really done anything other than loot my corpse. Oh gosh. My corpse was unresable. That was, but I honestly, I don't remember dying before I went to bed last night, because I could have sworn I died because of the gate, res myself, and then, son of a gun. And then that was that. I went to bed. But there I was, all sorts of a corpse. So Luna has put in, the art folks were kind enough to make her these objects, so they're interactive objects that are part of her quest series. These way shrines that will go along a path, go along paths in the various zones, but we'll check that out once she's got the quest in and working, then we can take a look. My goal right now is just to run over here for folks that haven't seen it and show you the facade. Oh, cool. She's got them out here as well. I had not seen those out here yet. All right, so back to the previous topic of the just using zone lines and what we can do here. Time set 6 p.m. So I think maybe the one thing I would change, and this isn't an art thing, but the one thing I'd probably do on a facade like this moving forward, is go back in and have some. We'll have some like guard spawns or something like that potentially, where you'll see some moving lights. You know, at night, or you'll see some movement in the background. May do that, may not. It may set a bad precedent. So I've got a torch. Since this is my play character, I was like, but it's fine. I'll sacrifice a... I'll burn a torch for you guys. Sword and Board says, you have no idea how seeing these backpacks pleases me to my absolute core. I have always hated that my adventurers look ready for a fight and not adventure. Thank you for including them. You're welcome. Are you the person that was talking about that in Discord as well? So we are gonna... Yeah, that was you? I thought so. Cool. No, I appreciate it. It was something that I think there was a bit of skepticism on at first, but then once we got them in, that kind of killed the skepticism. We'll provide some options. I know for those of you that are like purists that you don't want to hear this, but we will provide some options so that you can toggle certain slots. So if that way everybody that has a backpack isn't looking the same, right? So you can basically toggle it so that you can show your backpack, you can show your cape, or not, or helmet, right? So, and then naturally it's a visible item, so we'll want to have a bunch of different versions of it. We've already got different cape versions. I tried to set up a couple of the different ones, right? We've got like a short one, a medium one, and a and I've seen the texture for like a ripped up one, but I don't think I saw it in there when I was playing around. But the alpha wasn't working properly, so I did not include those. I can probably fix this if you look on my other... Well, I know I can fix this. I just need to fix it. If you look on the other character that I was on, you'll see that the shawl here is working. Those of you that like the backpacks, then I guess you probably... We've got pouches as well, if you look. You can see the belt pouches. The idea is to be able to have a variety of just sort of belt slot like waste items. So maybe you have a book, or maybe you have potion. Are you Batman? Mm-hmm. See the cape? Yes, Suds. You are Batman. Yeah, so that's that. That's that. Jump back in. Torches that actually do what they're supposed to do. You mean light up? Forever mash? Oh, speaking of which, let me... Forever Mash said, yeah, torches that are functional in games make you feel that bringing them was a good idea in that dark cave. Yeah, our dungeon, if you haven't seen any dungeon gameplay, be sure to check out our YouTube. Here, I'll give you a link. Sun's going down. So check out our YouTube. You'll find a couple of videos without much searching involved that can take you to videos of the dungeon at work. Run over here. Got a really cool backpack from a guide in EverQuest about a week ago. Why'd you get a backpack from a guide? What did you do? Stormboard said I kind of love all the unfinished buildings in town right now. Makes me think of when I set up for my war games and haven't painted everything yet. Oh, that's one way to look at it. Oh, you know what might be interesting? Keith, are you you know what I might do? Keith, are you still there? Keith, John, Ollie, tech people. I'm pretty sure it's not the case, but I'm curious about whether or not something may have the ability to impact frame rate. I'm very curious about it, because even as I was doing it, I was very curious about the potential impact of it. Had a guy come up in game and I got a question from him and was rewarded a 75 slot backpack with a unique appearance. That's badass. Yeah, when I was playing TLP, I think I bought one or two of those crazy ass big bags. Enable. Quest, not question? Oh, you got a quest. Okay. I thought he just hit you with some trivia. Cool. So let me do something. It's probably not going to be the case, but we're going to make this guy spawn count 0. This guy spawn count 0. Where else do we have this? We're going to go over here, make this guy spawn count 0. This guy over here never got the treatment. Oh, I should probably save that one. And that one. Nope, not that. That. Save. Click him. Save. Where else do we have some people doing some? So what these guys are doing, basically this is day-night behavior. So during the day, it's sunny, it's hot. They stand in their tents. At night, they come out and stand by the fire. We're not trying to get crazy enough that like everybody goes to bed and has like a full life and all this other shit. But, you know, just giving it a little bit of variance, thought it would be kind of cool. So did this while chatting in a huddle. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to deactivate all these guys. Because they're doing something kind of... Maybe it's not costly at all. Maybe I'm overthinking it. But when I implement it in a way that makes sense to implement it, I'm like, this feels like it might be costly. We aren't shaking them out of bed at 2 a.m. to turn in a quest like Oblivion. Did you mean for there to be a question mark at the end of that? Not yet. I would like for us to get enough NPCs in the first place just to have a game, and then we can get crazy. So let's reload data. Have to, like, go to work, pay taxes, set around a water cooler. Alright, so these guys aren't here. So I'm assuming that means that they're also not firing their commands. But if... yeah, it's not. My frames aren't really that much better. A little better here and there, but barely. Barely. Just a couple frames. Alright, go back in. Undo what we just did. So the reason why I was suspicious of these guys is because how we're basically looping our behaviors and doing a doing a check to see if it's day night. And if there's no pause in essentially the behavior loop, I'm curious like how taxing that is on the server, if at all. It's very possible that Ollie looks at this and goes, "Don't do that," because that's what happens a lot of times when designers implement content. Yeah, assuming a pause would be wise. Yeah, I don't disagree. The other ones that I've got doing this have a pause. And it's just a matter of adding a few more commands per setup. I would assume this needs 3? No. Probably it just needs 2 pauses interspersed in it. But let's see if we get yelled out by Ollie first, and then we can improve it later. Set them back to a spawn count of 1 so that we can actually have them spawn. And here's the last guy. Cool. And
Catch 22.
hello, Ishiwatari. Thank you for 22 months. Wie geht's? Yeah, so it's the exact same frame rate, but best practice wise, we'll find out. We'll have somebody profile the server and let us know. Ishiwatari, wie geht's? Serious question, will you be able to craft iced coffee in the game? Maybe? Subatender says, I think in Funcom we hard-coded so NPCs couldn't ping too fast. Just make sure none of the designers accidentally chain too many checks. It's a wise move. It is, in fact, a wise move. Tootmaster. Justin Beard, Tootmaster has a solution for you. Tootmaster said that you can use cold spells to chill your beverage. Darkenside says coffee wasn't invented till the Industrial Revolution. Please do not insert your reality into my fantasy. Ishutari said, mir geht's gut, das Wetter ist scheiße, aber sonst alles top. Wie geht's dir denn, Meister Sean? Es geht mir okay. Okay. Das Wetter ist scheiße, genau. Ich weiß nicht genau, ob es ist das Wetter, oder was, aber meine Energie heute ist keine mehr. Dwarves and gnomes already lead the Industrial Revolution here. Then pick ale, it makes more sense. It makes sense to you. Dark Inside, we're not trying to make a historically accurate game about squirrels and dragons and elves and shit. Can we carry a barrel in place of a backpack around and brew alcohol and volatile mixtures? Tootmaster, I think that is a beautiful, wonderful idea. Please don't let us forget that. I think that would make such a wonderful back item. You just strap on a barrel. What? What else I got in here? Bunch of cloth. Historically accurate dragon squires. And then we've got to have aerodynamically accurate dragon design. The aerodynamics of that dragon is incorrect, sir. Dragon squirrels. Dragon squirrels are an important part of a fantasy game. Batwings. What else do I got to sell here? I got so many damn bone chips. Yeah, you told us about the Turkish coffee, Justin. Now I'm jealous and I want to get my own Turkish coffee. I feel remiss in not having had Turkish coffee while living in Germany. Because if there's one place you should be able to find some Turkish coffee outside of Turkey, it's definitely Germany. Swordboard said, technically, sir, spiders could not be that big because their book lungs couldn't support the O2 needs of all that tissue. Gravity would not allow for it. No giants would work, right? Isn't that the problem that we run into in real life with giantism? It's just, you'd really have to have a pretty strongly different anatomical structure. Like maybe that of a giant. Say there's a learning curve with Turkish coffee? Why do you say that? Was it because of the grounds or the flavor? Was it just very groundy? Why are you here, window? I thought I fixed all of you. Dark Inside said, okay, y'all being smartasses now about the realistic shit. It's true. We are. We are. Yeah, it's definitely very finely ground. You have to let the ground settle before drinking. Okay, I saw an advertisement on like a plane where they were prepping the delicious Turkish coffee, and then as part of that, well, no, they were actually more emphasized on using. They emphasized the fact they were using real fire, like when they were like cooking it in a fire or some shit with like a crazy container. I didn't actually notice the grounds or not or whatever. Huh. We'll have to see. Can we put an actual lights here as well in these? Have to make a mental note to ask Luna. Oh shit, Luna and Pattis. This he's tough too. I need to. And I've got no spells loaded. Anyways, see if we can put a light in the prefab for that object that turns on and off. So, I don't know how the state changes are being handled, if it's all in one prefab or if it's two prefabs, for one for each state, or what the deal is. Alright, so here I am, sitting out here in the dark. I just got punched in the back of the head repeatedly by an Ashira warrior. That's cool. I'm gonna conserve my torch. So I'm not gonna turn it on until, well, it's about daytime anyway, so I'm not gonna mess with it at all. Frickin' jackal pup coming at me. So first things first. Let's scribe. A pet. Get a pet up so you can deal with this. When are you adding Sonic and Infravision like EQ2? It's not, I don't think it's on our list for any time soon. The main thing that we're looking at over the next little bit is trying to do some cleanup in, look at stability, do some cleanup on some of the stuff that we already got in, so that when our friends and family come in, they're not just hit with a subpar experience that could have been easily avoided. Then we'll be working on some other shit that's not that, I think. Life, already got it. Draw strength. Here, even if I've got my back towards the enemy. Let's sit here. That's nice. Oh. From here, it looks like my character's wearing a hat similar to mine. We do not have any Monsters and Memories beanies in game yet. Well, we missed the sunrise, so can go back to facing the enemy, I guess. What else? Noxious Deluge. Here's a question, is there a way to turn down the intensity of the sun? Yeah, I mean, We control the horizontal. We control the vertical. I'm not sure where his corpse was going, but... Do you think they're releasing green for P99 soon? Heard rumor of early next year. See you, Dark Inside. But I honestly don't know. I don't have any real insights. I guess, why not load up Invis? I mean, it's not like I don't have a slot for it. And gate. Cool. Got my spells back. Hopefully I don't wake up dead again next session. Fire Beetle is still blue to me. That's nice. Bat is green. Blister Beetle is indifferent to me, but also even con. And he will spray me, and I don't necessarily want that. Waking up dead, it is the worst, the Loner Wolf. Unless you're a metal band, then it's probably feels fantastic. One of Nick's corpses. Near the zone line here. Share a warrior. Oh. You know what I did forget? What do we got? 8? Minor spell shield. It's minor, but it's not nothing. Let's sprinkle some sparklies about. Megadeth reference confirmed. Poor Dave Mustaine. This guy's tougher than I thought. I'm mostly pokey. I still find that I spend most of my time just poking. Stabbing with my my little dagger. If either of them were a bit tougher, then maybe we would do a little like fear kiting or something. Nope. Yeah, why not? We're near the zone line, so we could try it out. Life of a low-level necromancer, indeed. Alright, so we got Swirling Shadows. That should piss him off. Cool. Fear him. Interrupted. Get my face beat in. Sword and Board said, I love those gnolls. Are they desert specific? They look very jackal inspired. So they are not our gnolls. Well, actually, we'll have gnolls that are different than these guys. This is a race called the Ashira. And yeah, they're specific to this region. And they are very jackal inspired. There's a lot of lore between them and the jackals. Let me see if we can. Oh, they're moving. Look at them go. Though they need a swim animation. Do we have a swim animation? I forget. I'll have to check Slack and see if there is a swim animation in the list. You just saw we had goblins listed as an option in a poll in the past. Are they going to be playable, or is that just measuring interest? Yeah, they should be playable. They need the wiggle XR animation. Rule, I agree. Well, I would say that the XR animation is basically just a alligator animation, right? Turnip. Howdy. Thank you for 28 months. Good to see you. Look at this guy. I intentionally gave him pants and no shirt just because he's that sexy. He's just out here thinking big thoughts. I was about to say, I thought I masked this big edge with some rocks before, but... Turnip Heat is just standing at the dock of the bay. But he's not wasting time, he's thinking big thoughts. Why build a dock next to a giant rock and not on giant rock? There was a lot of fear about anchoring. So the decision was made by the Council of Fishermen to build it next to the rock. There was also some controversy and discussion about whether or not this rock was significant to previous civilizations that were in this region before these fishermen got here. And they didn't want to basically damage the rock or in any way potentially injure historical sites. So, and that's how lore works. See, that's how lore works. Real. That's just... That's how you do it. Do you think it would be cool to include a shoreline animation, water washing up on the sand? Potentially, if we can get a shader to do that. Keep in mind that you're basically looking at one step up from gray box art. The reason why this coast here, this shit has like these big crazy... Oh, little floating thing there. Oh, that reminds me of being a kid swimming under the docks in Florida. The reason why this looks like this is because I made this crap like a year ago in Blender fairly poorly. And so at some point in the future, Some point in the future, the artist will actually have to make art to replace this wonderful bit of creativity that is currently in place. I hope that helps. Hope that helps you understand. Where is one of these guys? Let me con him. But where's our zone line? We still got a little while before zone line. I swear we saw some down here, no? There could be monsters underwater. Murky Dirk, that is 100% true. And that's why I'm afraid of murky water. I'm not ashamed to admit it. Something about the white robe on top of the black, or the white cape on top of the black robe makes me feel like a priest. What's our approach for underwater dungeons? Tube Master, so far we just have some stuff that we've talked about. We don't have a formal approach because we don't have an underwater dungeon in at the moment. But it'll basically be that experience that you're just seeing underwater, but in a dungeon. That ended quickly for him. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go back down here, and I think that's where I'm going to camp this guy out. Frame rate, honestly, the frame rate looks a bit lower in here as well. It's still tolerable, but it is lower than I think what I've become accustomed to. So I wonder if there's something going on with the client overall. Then again, I'm just comparing it from my experience playing in editors, as opposed to like comparing the difference between the release client and in editor. Fizbin Gamer says, as developers, do they ever put in Easter eggs into games, or does the company ask them not to do that? There's typically some sort of Easter eggs that make it in, but you gotta watch. You gotta watch what you put in as Easter egg. You can't do something like the old GTA hot coffee sex mini game and stuff like that. Cindercroft. Yes, underwater dungeons, the Polly Shore of dungeons. Yeah. We'll see. I think some of it's also got to do with layout. But that's one of those things that we can easily get in. We can prototype one fairly simply and then play around to see, one, what you know, the basic experience feels like, and then two, how we can potentially improve that experience with gameplay features like you're saying, spells or abilities or whatever. Perjoss said no sex minigame. Okay, canceling my pre-order. I'm sorry, I'm not going to send your $100 back. Sorry, Perjoss, you got robbed. BDC Retro said, one thing with underwater dungeons, you can have them without actually fighting underwater. You can have a long swim experience and go into air pockets to fight. This is very true as well. What about a dungeon where you fly around on mounts? Probably not anytime soon. Save that for the Space Pirates expansion. Yeah, with the ship-to-ship combat. I think there's going to be a certain amount of time just spent sitting places like this, chilling out. It would be nice It would be a nice dungeon if a giant whale ate you and then you had to fight your way out, Smirky Dirk said. I put a dungeon into Plains of Power where a gross four-headed or tentacle mouth thing swallowed you and you had to fight through his stomach, and there are worms in there and other gross things, and then I don't know how you got out. I don't think you cut your way out or whatever. I think when you killed him. Justin Beard, it sounds cooler than it was, but yeah, I did that Plane of Torment boss. I did all of Plane of Torment. So take that for what it's worth. I was the expansion lead at the time, so I was juggling my responsibilities with putting some stuff into the game. I can't remember. I don't know that I did all of Plane of Nightmare as well, but I know I did the boss and the hedge maze, and I can't even remember what else was in there, to be honest. I liked her model a lot. She was really cool. The boss for Plane of Torment, I thought it was going to be a fun idea just because she had a round room, and then the bird moved around. Yeah, Saren. And the idea was just, at the time, there wasn't a lot of like movement being forced in raids, so I thought it would be cool to move you around a little bit. I tried to, I don't know, you guys probably broke it pretty quickly, but the goal was to not have a corner to actually be able to be in, right? And not have like a safe spot for casters and healers, since the bird had a little small AoE silence. I did basically all of the edgy pop gods. You're right, Pattis. True story. That's back when when I barely had any gray hair, but I still dyed my hair black. I actually had hair. I had enough hair to dye. And I wore various Black Skull t-shirts from Zero and Fallen since I knew the owners every day. I was super edgy. So I'm gonna watch the sun go down and then my goth phase. Yeah, I don't, was that goth? I think it was more like whatever the sort of, I guess you could probably say it was more emo than goth, right? Cool. So guys, I'm watching the sun go down here in game right now. Exciting. Beautiful. Let's go over to the shore. The great Raidini. Thank you for the follow. Cindercroft. Thank you for your generosity. Will of the Watch. There you go. You got yourself a gift sub. There's a galloping gator. A clamoring croc. I'll have to check in art, the art channel, and see, or no, animation channel, right? Let me see if there's a swim. I don't see a swim, but Arkansas just got started, so once we get a swim, that'll be dope. Great Raidini says, this looks great so far. Thank you. What if you guys put in some tinkered glasses? I think that's very feasible. These guys have like a really chill little walk. The Crocs have a really cool like chill walk, so but it's a very slow walk. So I wonder how we're gonna get that to work. If they need to have a slower move speed, but then that may be too slow. Or what? So I have to look at it. May have to speed up the walk so that they're not galloping. Like that gallop that you see is meant to be if they're chasing you, like if they're running. So we'll have to see about that in the implementation. Oh, it's 4:21. We missed it by 1. Tell you what, guys. Usually I do 3 hours. We've only been here for 2 hours and 21 minutes. But I'll be completely honest with you, because I try to do that here, since this stream is about game development and being humans just as much as it is about me just basically being here to shill Eminem to you guys for 3 hours at a time, so you can go tell all your friends and join our various Discord and mailing lists and all that other stuff, which we do as well. But in the spirit of full disclosure, by the way, here's our mailing list. I need to check and see how many of you are there now. I think it's like, it's over 220. I mean, 2,200. Here is our Discord. Here's our website if you're new. Here's a bunch of YouTube videos. Yeah. So, in the spirit of full disclosure, I'm just kind of like, I don't know. I think I'm in a funk or something. So, came in, I was looking at, you know, what can I sort of run through that we worked on over the weekend, and then the more I started like poking at it or whatever, the more I'm kind of like, I don't know. Just kind of, eh. So, what I'll probably do is, rather than subject you guys to another 30 minutes of kind of a subpar stream or energy level or whatever, probably I'll bounce out of here, and then I'll try to get my shit together by Thursday. Yeah, it is Unity. Thank you, Kimmery. It is Unity. So we yeah. Cool. Well, thank you, Kimmery. I'll get on my funk. It happens. It's probably the weather. It's probably the weather. So what I'll do is I'll wrap up. If you guys want to come hang out on Thursday, that'll be awesome. Like I said, I'll probably be much more energetic. If any of the other guys are streaming, here's a list. For those of you who haven't checked it out, you really should. They stream hours that are more conducive to US time zones as well. Kind of like after work, evening. So check out Pattis. Check out Zookins. Check out Goblins when he's streaming. Nick still hasn't started streaming. If he does, check it out. And like I said, I'll take this extra 30 minutes before I usually have to start cooking dinner and stuff, and I don't know, do something, and then I will be back on Thursday with more energy and stuff. All right. So, see you guys Thursday. Those of you that are regulars, you know the deal. Bye-bye. Wait, is that NPC on the dock of the bay? He is. He is. Later, Pattis. See you, Fargo, Bitwise. See you, Kimmery. Oh, I forgot I could buy a damn fishing pole from this guy. That'd give me something to do while I'm over here. See you, beer chug. Later, Rev. Affordable. That is him, Mad Monk. Alright. I'll see you guys Thursday.